Good evening, everybody. Let's start. Let's get straight into it.
They found it out. They found it, Benny. They found it. They found a thing that is on the blockchain.
Well, there's some good news, people. Some good and some bad news. You'll notice that the tweet's been taken down, but there's a reason for that. There's a very special surprise coming. We've decided to do an upgrade and a last-minute modification, which you're going to like a lot. So I would say get your wax ready. Wait an hour or so and you'll see that. Very, very, very good. Yes, what a week. Famous ape added. Let's just say that it's basically a pimp my ape coming your way. I don't know, but I'll tell you what, I actually want one. I think Pete wants one. We all want one. And it's our ape. What a week. Yeah, it's been an amazing week, hasn't it? I was just saying that, Hanford, you can erase that from your memory. It's about to get a lot better. The interesting thing about the week, yes, it's been a very, very interesting week. We've tried to explain for years now what it is that we do, and then Zuckerberg goes out on a 10-minute rampage and explains and shows visuals of what the metaverse is and what it means, and suddenly every single person in the world knows what it is. So we have to move double time now to make sure that the new website and that the messaging is fixed, due to the fact that it's extremely important that we position ourselves as one of the first movers in that space, because in about a month from now or 2 months from now, every single man and his dog is going to say that he's a metaverse project. So we have to move quickly to put our stake in the ground. There's a lot of interest, obviously, and then people will cover the story about the difference between the metaverses. So that's all coming as well. Some people told a few months ago that we'd already missed the bull run. Oh, Will. Yeah, I always get told, Benny, I'll tell you the funny one, Will. I won't embarrass the person because we probably know who they are. They probably listen to the call as well. But I'll tell you exactly what was said. It says, I was really worried that we weren't going to get a piece of the bull run action. Little did I know that you guys were actually going to be the bull run. The thing is that the metaverses are obviously, I mean, you could see by the charts that look across the board for crypto in general. I've been saying this for months now, and I think December is going to be an absolutely ginormous month for the space. You notice that RedFOX bought quite a few Galaxy eggs. Any alpha in that? There is a bit of alpha in that. Actually, the designs are pretty good. We thought that they would look good on display in the virtual space. And Kimmy, if you've been ruffling through wallets, you'd probably also see another project in there as well, hey? That's all I'm going to say. Tell us about Elon buying RFOX. I don't know anything about that, mate. The thing is that we have had a couple of people come out in the last week or two as RFOX holders, and they haven't been RFOX holders for a week or two. They've been RFOX holders for a long time, but it's something that was asked as well recently about price action. I get asked about this all the time. What's happening with the price? Why did we not move up? How come it started to move up now? How come new wallets are accumulating? Yes, so that's something that gets talked about a lot. We don't control anything that happens that way. King, Raoul Pal, yes. And time for a CryptoPunk. I don't know about that. Can someone link the OpenSea wallet? You can just go on to OpenSea, mate, and type in 5503, the number of the Bored Ape, and you'll be able to see it. But there's a hint in there. There's a little Easter egg outside of the eggs. Oh, there you go. Now you've got it up there. That's all right, mate. Growlek, this blockchain caper is a bit complicated. It's hard to get your head around. But yes, obviously the thing is that this metaverse traction and play hasn't even kicked in yet. I mean, we're still largely under the radar. I think people are starting to sort of understand that. And if you have a look at some of the people that will come out saying that they hold RFOX over the next weeks or months, I think you'll realise that there's been a lot of closet holders for quite some period of time, and some people scaling in a big way as well. Metaverse tokens I own. Yep. So we know that Altcoin Daily's been invested since pretty much near the beginning, and they've been big believers in the project since the start. So they've mentioned us a number of times on their channel. Railpal hadn't actually said that he owned any, but publicly. But I mean, if you've got Mike Novogratz and him and Altcoin Daily, and you've got all the big influencers over the course of time have come out and talked about the fact that they hold it as well. So a lot of people, they've been all over it. Donnie, the signs are definitely there. We just got to. I think that now the biggest fear for us is that we've got to move and, like I say, hurry up and finish the comms and the website stuff, because what we don't want to do is look like, for people that have never heard of us before, that we sort of pivoted to trying to become a metaverse company because that was the in thing. So we're spending a bit of time and effort right now to make sure that we're talked about as part of the big three with Sandbox and Decentraland, and trying to be talked about in the same circles or breath, which would be really good positioning for us. I'm hearing that Altcoin Daily has been buying Princess Cogs too. Yeah, apparently, madam, that's the story on the street, that they've been buying tons of Princess Cogs. What else have we heard? There's a Princess Cogs shop and hoverboard range and merchandise. It's all happening. You see the announcement of the new marketing head, looks incredibly well credentialed. What is his first priority, Benny? Fix the marketing. That's why you bring on marketing people, isn't it? Obviously, we didn't get that right. We did it wrong. We've spent tons of time and effort fixing and correcting that. And I think that when we have this new site and messaging come out, you'll see that there's been a lot of time and effort behind the scenes spent on simplifying our messaging and making it a lot easier for people. So the two things, Craigo, I think the two things to focus on are the positioning and messaging, and also making sure that the onboarding process for new people is clearer and cleaner. We probably jumped the gun by going straight to the end user before the products were fully rolled out as well. So more of a focus on the B2B side of things as well, because with the white labels, we have the ability for people to bring along an audience of people and click in. But even without the new marketing and messaging, businesses and VCs obviously can cut through the layers of fat, but the general public can't, and we need to clean it up fast. We're on the clock now. Has to be this month. Crazy, under 200 or so community contributed to the questionnaire. TKL, 147. What we said was, I was actually predicting around about the 160 mark, and I was saying that in my experience in surveys that a lot of people will complain, but it's actually just a concentrated few. And then when you do give people the option or the chance to be able to have their say, they quite often don't. So also you had to register with an email address or give an email address. So we had a couple of people create fake emails that were quite comical, but the majority of people didn't want to go to the effort. But the feedback was very consistent. Any updates in relation to avatars for the Vault? Will this be out before launch of MVP? So Image Trader, there's information coming on that with the new roadmap that will come out as part of the messaging. And we're looking at doing a number of different things with avatars. Also looking at clothing. We need to fix the propulsion and make sure that works properly. You saw that our first little run around in 4am with putting the system called IK inside of the Ready Player Me resulted in some pretty interesting alien-looking movement, and that's something that will improve. And we're working on some pretty cool stuff across different groups of people and contributors as well. What sort of valuation would you put on the Bored Ape cog in terms of value it will provide in the future? So Rasha, it'll provide those ones originally will be very good, because they're going to provide whitelist lottery potential or entry. And if not that many Bored Apes mint, depending on how many Bored Apes decide to mint, you could end up being almost guaranteed a whitelist into an upcoming project, NFT project. And that project, don't forget, the first project that allows you to, so if you get a whitelist entry into an upcoming project, what will happen is you will be allowed to do the same thing as a Bored Ape Yacht Club holder. You'll be able to mint. You will be able to mint and make money from it. So I would say that that'd be pretty valuable. And the more we've got, so say we get more communities in, and I know that you're scourging through wallets now looking, but the more communities that come in and start to mint, the more of those COGs there will be, and therefore potentially down the track, the odds of getting a whitelist lottery entry from those will reduce slightly, and things will balance and tip in the favour of COGs tube holders, of course. So if you do the math exponentially, you'll see that COGs tube holders will do very well. Any idea when the new site will be launched this month? Has to be launched this month. Will there be some attention made to cleaning up CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, and Livecoin? CoinGecko, that's easy, as long as we've got exactly what we want. And obviously, because we were migrating to Discord, we wanted to wait until that was done. So CoinGecko is actually quite easy. The VFOX side or the finance side is being updated now. CoinMarketCap, we put in a number of different tickets, and because some of those things required us to log in through a particular account, the easy things didn't get done. So we had a few people from the community say we reached out and they changed it straight away. There was tickets in for a long time to get some of this stuff changed, and it just so happened that I think so many people have messaged them that they changed some of the simpler things. Will David Avoid still help with marketing? Yeah, for sure. So George74, Avoid's actually bringing in clients, as we know. So that's going on behind the scenes, and they're quite it's quite big what they're helping us to put together, and they need more time to spend on the client partnerships and onboarding. So as soon as the new CMO gets his head around everything and starts to take more of the reins, Dave will still help from the crypto marketing side of things, because obviously his crypto background is very strong. And then what will happen is he'll be able to spend much more time on the partnerships and onboarding. But we'll announce something about that later, because we've got a couple of those clients locked, and we're about to tell you who they are quite shortly. Have you been surprised by any of these that have shown interest in the Gaming VALT Land Sale? Not really. I said the reason we're focusing on the crypto side of things as well is because these brands do come to the communities and they do come to the hype, and it's not the other way around. The brands won't bring necessarily hype. They'll get token holders excited and they'll get people excited, but they won't necessarily bring huge audiences with them. So we're working on a couple of strategic partnerships right now that would bring large audiences in, which will help and bode better for people coming in. And yes, we have talked to them. When Nike, yeah, we saw that. I saw that Nike was heading into the metaverse. That's not one of the companies we're talking to, no. Any possible exchange listings for VFOX? Yeah, so Monte Cristo, we've been talking to people today about the exchange listings, and we just found out as well that one of the qualifications or prerequisites of one of the major exchanges, and you know who they are, was that you get a certain amount of transactions and traffic, and we found out that we've been getting enough of those transactions or traffic for months, but they just weren't tracking those particular contracts, and now we've had to resubmit. So it's a bit disappointing, but hopefully with all this buzz around metaverses, the daily volumes and liquidity having gone up, and now they can track back transactions, I hope that we can finally get listed on one of the good ones. Never put VFOX on an exchange. Yeah, I think that VFOX is just going to end up sort of, depends where we get listed, but I think VFOX will end up getting listed by Virtue, but not many of the BSC ones are harder to list, obviously. Yeah, that's right, B-boy. Finance listing, surely. I was talking about RFOX. Who will ever sell VFOX? I don't know, Derek. Actually, people asked me, when was it? I'm going to have a look at what the time was. Someone was saying when it was 35 or 40 cents, VFOX is going to zero. Any updates on Koggu? Koggu's also coming an update as well with the Metaverse, Evan Gecko. All of that stuff's thought of and there in the queue. As you can imagine, we've got a lot of stuff queued up now with all of the stuff that's coming out, and obviously Metaverse. I think today, what was it, Pete? I think we had seven articles go out today, or 7 pieces of news just today. You should see the calendar.
I thought it was 10.
Could be.
I thought it was 10, but I could be wrong.
I think 10 have been created and 7 went out today. So.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We've got a few months ago we had like one person helping out with the writing of the content, and then a couple of bit part people helping out with that. And now we've got I think we've got 3 full-time copywriters now, just copywriters. Plus we've got all of the people that contribute content as well. So the calendar for content coming out is actually getting quite full on, and Dave's helped a lot with the structure for that and pushing back on if we don't have something perfect, then we don't do it. I noticed a lot of the jobs got delisted. Has there been a lot of positions filled recently? Yes. I think in the article today we mentioned that there's been 20, what is it, Pete? 27 in 4 months. 27 full-time people plus all the contractors. So I think this week alone.
I don't know. I lost track.
I'm finding it hard as well. Actually, today someone
60. We're at 60, slightly above 60 permanent staff, because I tracked it via the licenses that we need to buy.
So there you go, and then we've got all the contracts.
Yeah, 60 something.
And so Ninja, the answer to that is yes, we have recruited a lot of people. Actually, someone today wrote, "Can we put Simone on something?" And they actually meant to write someone. And I thought, I don't want to say that I don't know who Simone is, but it ended up just being a typo, and it's getting that hard now. It's getting hard to sort of keep track of all of the people coming in. So that's a good sign, obviously, that we're growing very quickly. Does the RFOX Games team have any new updates this week?
Yeah, just 2 major updates for us this week. We are testing the conversion of RFOX coins to RFOX. That's going on this week, and then next week we're starting pre-registration for the open beta. So we're hoping to release it on Thursday or Friday. Just wait for the announcement. What it means is that you can visit the link of the official Play Store and then pre-register for open beta, and when the game drops, everybody who pre-registered will be whitelisted to download it straight away. There's no requirement to pre-register. Just visit the store and then click on the link to pre-register.
Thanks, mate. RFOX Run had 1 million plays, which is great success. Would you do anything differently in the future? And what was the feedback like on the ground in Myanmar? The numbers are going up as far as active daily users and stuff are concerned. I believe we breached 80-odd thousand today or yesterday. And yeah, those games will just go insanely high now that they're pushing that and people are on holidays. What would we do differently? Obviously, the play to eat came out of necessity because of the fact that, crypto, and there's a pretty big feud going on there, and they don't want people seemingly funding one of the sides or the other. So the only thing I think we do differently is perhaps, I don't know, something to do around acquisitions. So we're just measuring how many acquisitions we're getting as a result of that now. So we should have proper data on that next week. But I think that it's kind of worked out well. The play to eat angle was done out of necessity, and it's going to end up being something that's able to be rolled out across the region. So I'm actually pretty happy with it, and I think the team's pretty happy with it. There's a lot of attention coming in from that, which is great. So yeah, not a lot different, to be honest. Arul Novo Benny hookup would be killer for us. Yep, we've reached out to. I've been put onto the person who schedules all of the those things, and today I got made an introduction to Lex as well. So that's interesting to see if that goes anywhere. I think I speak to someone when I say we're going cold turkey on Vault sneak previews. When are we likely to get our fill? Yeah, so that's true. We've got some assets and stuff to show you. We're working on the next view. Obviously, there's lots of eyes on us at the moment as well. And I got asked the question 2 or 3 times. If you probably saw in the social channels, people were saying, with the price going up, does that mean that you've got more development funds, and are we likely to see anything different? I can say that what we're looking at doing is expanding that team and spending some time on seeing if what we can do to make it better. There's going to be a lot of eyes on this space in general, so it's important right now that we make sure that everything is. We're trying to give you a bit of a sneak peek along the way and hold people's hands and take people on the journey. And I know people are starved for some more updates, and we have to make sure that these updates are killer, because with the more attention comes more critics and all the rest of it. We want to make sure that we're thought of as what we're going to be positioned at with our marketing, and that is a leader in the space. We don't want to be doing anything that's half-assed looking. Is there any QM of Vault already locked in position? Working on that now, George74. Need to make sure that we can onboard these people into a smooth onboarding experience and they can take the reins. It's going to break into 3 pieces basically, which will be the technical side. It'll also be the onboarding partnerships and client side, and then the third part will be the quartermasters. So those 3 clear divisions need to be up and running soon. Leader in the space, you and the team are the best in class. It's a team, mate. Got a great, absolutely fantastic team, and I know we say it so many times on this call, but like Pete will tell you, he started a year ago, had no team, and now he's got how many up to now, Pete?
Lost count, man. 7 under me plus 5 contractors. 6 contractors. Sorry.
13 team just under him, so that's not bad. It's an amazing team, and the thing is that the cultural values that we have are instilled pretty deep. We've got a lot of hard workers that put in ridiculous amounts of hours and do it because they love doing it, which is awesome. It's one guy in bots in Vietnam, apparently, Derek. Apparently, is the beta walkthrough still on track? I thought it was this month from memory. We'll update that with that roadmap on the comms, and we still haven't forgotten either, Jay, that we're going to take a group of people through before anybody else, and that's part of the competition and the headset giveaway. So some lucky people will have the opportunity to walk through with a headset on, and I don't know. I think that's bragging rights, don't you? If you've got a chance to walk through and have a bit of the first walk around on the hallowed ground, I think that's pretty good. Who do you think are going to be the main competitors for RFOX VALT from crypto space and other traditional companies? It's interesting you asked that question, Joker, because I get asked that all the time, and my answer was always can't see any clear competitors that have that are doing anything like what they're doing. And I think that narrative is going to change very fast to 1,000 people saying they're doing what we're doing. But as the VC said to us today, they said if someone was to start cold from today, it would take them at least a year to 18 months to sort of just catch up to where you are now as far as you are in your journey. Now, the mad scramble and the mad panic, everybody's going to try and go out and find some sort of cheap, shitty, white labeled world, and then they're going to try and plug as many things into that as possible and go, Metaverse, we've got a Metaverse. And in the instance, in the beginning, I think people are still trying to wrap their heads around what the definition of that is, and I think a lot of people will just fall for that. Hook, line, and sinker. Any company you are aware of having a similar model to RFOX, I think that's the one point that will probably differentiate us going forward. I think that the model that we've employed, I know it's a family-friendly channel, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think the model that we employed, most people would consider to be batshit crazy. And if someone started with a model like ours now, in this type of market, and to try and catch up a little bit and to try and do the same things as we did, they'd have to raise a good 50 to 100 million to have enough money to be able to sort of start from scratch, build tools from scratch, and build them fast enough for them to be valid in the space. And that's not to say that people can't get that, because there's a lot of printed money floating around, but it's a lot of work when you can just sort of partner with somebody else, right? So I don't think many people will copy the model, because it's not a model that has a high chance of working from scratch unless you've got tons and tons of money. And I think I'm pretty humbled by that experience, because if we look back at what we did and how we did it, and on the back of no funding, I think that it's probably 1,000,000 to 1 that we get to this point. And if we did it 1,000,000 times again, we might not be able to get back to this point again. So we're extremely grateful for the fact that the team's experience and hard work got us through. Any update on the RFOX Finance with the ETH side, Pete?
No updates so far, other than we got trading already in. I'm not sure whether it's live or not. Yeah, very difficult to keep track of all the projects going on. But I know we got trading to work, and we're working on the info, the analytics page right now.
Thank you, mate. Donnie, what do you think about Facebook and Microsoft, etc.? I'll probably keep talking about this until we post it, but as I was saying, we did an interview about, 12 months, 18 months ago, and in that interview, it was stated, when the Facebooks and Googles and Amazons coming to the metaverse space, people will think, or this space, people will think it's a perfectly valid idea. But obviously, I think that I've said this before as well. I think a lot of these legacy businesses are seeing A, how much money's being made in the crypto space, and B, that I've said this before as well. It's like the crypto people, we were always like in the kiddie pool splashing and saying, look at us. And the adult pool was like, look at these idiots over there splashing and carrying on. And now what's happened is people have started realizing, hang on a second, every single person and every single business is starting to get into blockchain, seeing the value of it. And now everyone's trying to, as they say, ape in. And as a result, anyone who's got really good tools or experience or knowledge in the space, these big companies that are spending tons of money on blockchain research and all the rest of it have got a lot of ground to make up. So I think they'll always be those companies first with the introduction of blockchain into their ecosystems, because they're well established, right? Whereas blockchain companies that cross over into the traditional space, like ourselves, that's probably, I think, going forwards, going to be a very potent combination. And I think that the next Googles and Amazons will come from the blockchain space. I think a lot of those big companies with their shareholders and corporate structures and stuff will probably struggle to really be classed as a blockchain company. I think they're going to be 100% just leveraging off of tools and stuff that's already available. RedFOX having my media audience is a great advantage over competitors for the Vault launch. Yeah, absolutely. We get asked a lot, like, what's your infatuation with Myanmar? Why do you concentrate on Myanmar? It's a little tiny country. The thing is that people don't understand that we've done two things. We've bought an audience, which is users, and users' value. We can replicate that model and improve it and roll it out across the region. But once we've got products and services, we can go back into a country where everyone's going to target later, and we've already got an established audience there, so they're going to have to come through us. So I think it's a good ploy. I just hope that, because people know that the engines are only just starting for RFOX, and a lot of people don't know who we are yet, and a lot of the products haven't properly dropped or rolled out yet. So I think it's a matter of patience and virtue. But I think the one thing that I'm hoping that comes out of all of this is that people see that we're on the right track. We've had that validated, and they just give us a little bit of time and patience to be able to execute what we're trying to execute properly. We don't want to rush stuff and have it half-assed. This is whatever we build is here to stay. And if we show that we're one of the first movers, we need to be producing high-quality stuff, because otherwise, if we rush to get to the finish line or to jostle and put out garbage, then we might as well have never been here in the beginning in the first place. Have you thought about live news channel Murdoch and FUD free? We've talked about doing, we got asked a while ago, King of Cogs might remember how long ago it was. I think it was probably, a year or 18 months ago. He'll probably tell us. We were offered to do a podcast show with the top guys, with who was it? Justin Sun and Vitalik, and starting to interview a lot of the big people in the crypto space. And the idea of the show was to run that show as what two people behind the Iron Curtain would talk about if they weren't doing a formal interview. So more of a candid chat and give people insights into what it's like to run So it's nothing like what you're talking about, but it was more of a what news looks like if you are able to be a fly in the wall of people that run projects just talking to each other. That's probably the closest thing we've come to any type of thing, but it was going to require too much of our time and effort, so we decided to pass on doing that. Facebook has been dead for years. The consumers are just a few years behind, that's all. I think you're right, mate. If you have a look at, I don't know what the valuations currently are, but I think it was a race between Facebook and Amazon to get to the $1 trillion market cap. Can you remember that? Maybe 18 months ago. I forget exactly how long ago it was. And I think that Google and Amazon are both like 1.7, 1.8 trillion, and Facebook's back below $1 trillion. Last I checked, it was 990 or something million. So they've fallen well behind the competition, well behind. Any news with collaboration with Harambe? Well, as you know, Harambe is a resident in the vault, so we're waiting for and we're hearing news coming through in relation to their releases and updates, but I don't have anything significant to update on at this particular point in time. But an interview would happen shortly, I believe. It's been a while since that Pete muted you. Want to test if he's paying attention with some partner news. Partner news? We've obviously...
Okay, that's it.
No, the last one we can review is YGG, so we've got more this month. That's all I can say. So we've got more coming this month.
YGG already came out, yes.
Yes, but there's a couple, at least one huge one this month and maybe two, depending on timing. But one of them will be right at the end of the month. Is there anything you would like to see us followers on Twitter do more or less of to support the company? I think, Tromio, I think it might sound like a really weird thing to say, but, you know, you get a lot of hate if you're working hard and you're doing the right thing, but the price isn't actually sort of, you know, doing what you're what the company's actually seeing behind the scenes. But on the same token, I get a bit funny that other way as well. I think that most importantly, I think it's important to, for the community to sort of share educational content. You know, I mean, it's all good that everyone does a few shilly comments and says, you know, RFOX to the moon and all the rest of it, but a couple of the guys from the community did like really cool threads explaining, you know, they thought if there's new eyeballs looking, then I should go out to my audience and sort of tell them where they can buy RFOX and staking and links and stuff like that. That stuff's absolutely fantastic. And the time and effort that people put into that is awesome. And a couple of the guys go out and just cut and paste what other people have done and retweet it. And that's cool as well. So anything that helps educate people as to what we've got on offer, because I get all these stupid tags in the bottom of tweets saying Senso this and these projects I've never heard of before. And I think to myself, I don't even know what that is. So, like, stop littering your feed. And I think that people think the same thing with RFOX. So if there's something of substance or pictures or videos, I think that really helps a lot. And the good thing is, Tromio, there's a few people that go out there, like Derek, who's in here tonight. Thank you very much, mate. You're a legend. There's a few people and Josh, that go out and really talk very positively about us, regardless of what the market's saying, and which is pretty brave, you know, because people say you shouldn't talk about something if it's not doing well and you're an idiot, you're a dumb investor and all the rest of it. But there's a few guys that sort of have had a lot of faith and they keep going out regardless of whether it's raining or sunshine and say good things to try and promote the project, and mainly factual stuff like how to get involved, how to get on board. And that's just amazing. It keeps our spirits as a team up as well, which is wonderful. Considering VR will be an important component of the metaverse going into the future, it would not surprise me to see Zuckerberg make a play for Oculus Quest 2 to be used only within their own metaverse. Actually, I think it's going to go the other way. If you, we did talk about, I did actually ask the guys what it would require to do a VR headset of our own. But Zuckerberg did say that they're going to bring out what's it called, Cambria or something, in the more high-end sets, and that they'd either continue to sell them at a loss or subsidize them to try and promote adoption. But Zuckerberg also mentioned in his address that they're coming up with ways now to make people be able to log into things on the Quest without using their Facebook account. So they're actually saying, you know, well, I think it's kind of a weird play, to be honest, because if you say you need to log in using your Facebook account, people say that's not good. I want to be able to log in using my email. I shouldn't have to be a Facebook user. But if Facebook's subsidizing your headsets and Facebook's losing money to bring you in, I think it's okay for them to say that you have to be a Facebook user. But if you're prepared to pay full price for a headset, then you should be able to tell them to go get lost. But as far as producing VR headsets is concerned, I think it's going to be something that's not in our, we're not experts at that, and I think it's going to be very, very expensive. So I'm not sure if it's worth it at this stage. Wait till the technology becomes cheap and widely distributed, then maybe. People need to dig a little to learn about VFOX. Will there be anything in the new marketing campaign for it? Monte Cristo, I get told all the time, I think it's been said tonight even as well, people keep saying, don't talk about it, don't advertise it, don't market it, let it just be there. I think there's a lot of people still wanting to accumulate more. It'll naturally get spotlight the more that RFOX does. And as soon as the transaction volumes start going through the vault, there's no way we can avoid that getting attention. Today, when I was talking to one of the exchanges, they did actually ask if we were looking at trying to get that listed as well. So yeah, everything okay to launch COG Slam still November?
So, like I mentioned just now, we are starting pre-registration next week. We are on the way to launching open beta, so all these are just steps we're taking to make sure everything is ready. But we are, like we mentioned before, we are releasing the roadmap for you guys to be able to see what comes after Slam as well. So give us a bit more time. We will be able to get back to you on that by next week.
Yeah, that's right. The Zuckerberg video does legitimize the space fast track. Does 100%, mate. Actually, we're talking to a few, 2 government bodies as well about working with them, and the governments, not companies, but governments also want to work out how they can get into the metaverse space. I think that the general consensus after his video is that metaverses will be the fast track to blockchain adoption, whereas I think more traditional people still think it's gaming and gambling. I think the metaverse angle and play, there's a reason that they actually turned around and they're spending a lot of time and money and effort and years to sort of get it right, because they know that there's time. That's why people keep saying to us, do you think you might miss out? You think you might be too late? I think that, the first 2 years of our existence, we kept getting told that we're too early. And now we're being asked if we're going to be too late, but this thing hasn't even started. What was the stat, Pete? I think there was 120,000 active users on OpenSea. Something tiny. Something absolutely tiny, and you just think to yourself, we're so early still. And the problem is that there's so few people using OpenSea that there's so many bloody PFP drops these days that it's not enough. The same people can't keep buying them all. So will the open beta let us use our own COGs? Too exciting.
Yes. You'll be able to use your own COGs and also see the COGs that you earn through the game in your usual fashion as you would on Atomic Hub.
So that's pretty good news. I knew the answer was yes, Fads. I just didn't know whether I was allowed to say. I don't want to steal your thunder. Expected user numbers on.
Yeah, we've already shown some of the teasers related to in-game COGs, but we are hoping to get the RFOX to coins, the coins to RFOX conversion sorted out this week. So the faster we sort that out, the faster we'll be able to go out to open beta. But yeah, next week we'll start pre-registration.
Well, the Bored Ape Yacht Club COGs have the same utility as the RFOX 2020s. Also, the COGs that are minted by the IP partners will give you whitelisted lottery tickets to upcoming launches. So Yes and no. I can't answer that until we've released the map. Wherever has McDonald's, man, you know what? All this talk of McDonald's, I haven't had McDonald's in such a long period of time. It makes me actually want it. Can we rent tubes during beta? I think you're going to see some.
The straight answer is no, because that's only going to be released when tournament is released. When you play open beta, what you can do is earn coins and earn KOGs in the arena. Tournament mode will come a bit later.
You've mentioned during the week an increase in wallets. Can you elaborate? Yeah, so the wallets came from both the BSC side and also the ETH side. What we did notice, weirdly enough, was that the BSC side, so during this boom of news, we've had a much larger increase in wallet numbers on the BSC side, and I'd assume that's got a lot to do with gas and also to do with the fact that there's farms and staking, so people that are coming into the ecosystem for the first time are seeing, hang on, I can actually stake and earn over there on BSC and there's no gas. So I can't 100% tell you exactly why that's happening, but if this pace keeps going for the new wallets on the BSC side compared to the wallets on the ETH side, I think we're about 10 days away from a flippening of having more wallet holders on the actual BSC side. And obviously, the value on the BSC side is nowhere near as high as the ETH side. So one can only assume that the wallet holders that are coming in are smaller holders than some of the ETH holders, and that would make sense because if people were legacy holders from the ERC side and the price has gone up like it has, they would be, for someone new to come in and sort of accumulate as much as some of those average wallet holders have on the ETH side, they'd be spending a lot of money, a lot. Was there any further probing development for the potential of RFOX Games getting into India with cricket play to earn? So, Wingnut, I can tell you that we are talking to people in India still, and something is definitely going to happen there. But whether or not it has anything to do with games or COGs is yet to be established. But India is a market that we had never really focused on, but is becoming, we're getting more and more inquiries from people that could potentially partner with us or work with us in India. So it's getting bandied around a lot. I think I mentioned it last week or the week before that both India and China we've had increased interest from both countries, and they're not in our immediate focus area, but they already have large established audiences, and if we do partnerships with the right type of people, then we'd automatically plug into them. Once you go BSC, you never go back. Do you reckon that's a shared opinion, Donnie? I'd be interested to hear what everybody says about that. If we've got both ETH farms and BSC farms up, what are people going to use? I think with gas fees, obviously a lot of people get perturbed. And I know that some people have said that they've got a lot of, that was the other question. Yeah, Pete, you've already answered it. It was, when is the ETH pools going to be launched? I don't feel comfortable transferring my money across a bridge. I'd rather wait until we've got pools on the ETH side. So fair enough. BSC will always love ETH despite the gas. It's OG. I can't believe it. You know that there's I think Ramses, I think you brought it up. Was it you that originally brought it up? Someone brought up the gas tracker, and you can track how much money you've spent from a wallet address in your lifetime on gas. I don't know if that was you.
Ramses brought it out a while ago, and she says, "Oh, look at mine!" Like, yeah, that's
Jesus,
crazy.
I think you ruined everybody's life, Ramses. I actually started going in there and tracking some of these big wallets like Pranksy's wallet and all the rest of it. Some of these people have spent. One person that I tracked, I think it's Sneaky Ninja Pants or one of those types of, might not be him. One of the big ones. They've done $1 million in gas fees. $1 million. It's ridiculous. But I mean, that's over the course of a long
No,
period
but
of time.
at that time it may not be 1 million, right? But it's accumulated ETH of this current as of this current price is 1 million.
That's my question. Does it actually just do it based on all the ETH you spent and then times it by the current price of ETH, or does it do it
Yes,
based on the?
it's current price of ETH. It's not at that point of time.
So they probably only spent $100,000 or something like that.
Yeah, correct.
Here we go. A couple more questions. We're almost out of time. Once the global vault is up and running, how will regional vaults be established? Contribute fees to VFOX holders. Will there be shop sales for the regions, or will these all be leased from RedFOX? Yeah, so DGM we'd copy the model in the other countries. They're different. We did play around with models already because we had to with projections of revenue. So we'd have more shops in like Indonesia and some of the local countries because the population's bigger. And then we'd also, the idea is to have like food courts and vending machine types of things, because what we'd want is in the local countries to be able to do the virtual in real life deliveries of food and stuff like that. So we have to make it affordable. If we're focusing on digital inclusion, when we go to the regional, we can't have just a bunch of shops that all cost like 200 grand each or something like that. They've got to be distributed. So the way it will work is exactly the same way rolled out. We're actually getting more and more questions now about will we do sharding or fractional ownership for the buildings like the event halls and esports stadiums and concert halls and stuff. So we've hinted at that for a long time, and that's definitely back on the radar as well. Will the next round of land sales be exactly the same format as Calanova? No, there'll be something slightly different. I'll save it as a surprise, but largely yes, but we're going to mix a couple of key components that are very big, mix those up. Has RFOX been unlocked yet? Would look bad if unlocked same time as Metaverse announcements, etc. Laugh out loud. The first lot of RFOX unlocks, I'll check blocks and all the rest of it is coming up shortly. But you'll see, you'll be able to track all of that stuff. There will not be any bad looks or announcements and stuff like that. No. I mean, obviously timing's timing, but ours gets unlocked over 3 periods anyways. But you'll be able to track all of that stuff. How is the responsive local audience in Southeast Asia on Zuckerberg's Meta announcement? I've only had a couple of calls with government people and local businesses, but ultimately their view is that that a lot of these Asian countries want to be a front runner and a major player in the technology movement. So they're looking for the angle. They're looking for the, how can we get labelled as a tech savvy government? How can we be a big player in the space? Then you're going to have to buy 15%. Exactly, Urban Gecko. If that was the case, hypothetically speaking, and if you were right, that would have to happen. Yes, exactly. Will we can't. I mean, it's all block height related. So yeah. And the thing is that, you know, with what's coming, I think people would be mental to get rid of anything at this particular point in time. Easier to bid, RFOX price goes up. Yeah, that's right. I mean, we've said once the Metaverse goes live that we'd look at taking whatever's in people's pockets, right, and convert that through RFOX. So I think all the holders want to see as well is transactional volumes and value and demand for the token going through, and that's one thing that we can guarantee will happen. So I think that one thing that's been proven time and time again is if you try and force something down people's throats and you try and say you have to do this, look at Facebook, you have to do this and you have to do it our way and it has to be on our terms, that people don't like that. So we need to be as accommodating as we possibly can. We need to be focused on digital inclusion, not exclusion where it suits us. And we'll catch many more flies with honey, that's for sure. I think so. Cogfather, Cog volume to push RFOX next. Look, you asked a question. I'm going to leave you with this. You asked a question earlier on about how can the community do more to support. Start bugging these apes when the tool goes out tomorrow. Start bugging apes to mint, and let's get behind the communities that we're going to get into. We're going to we've got an idea for how to get community buy-in from some of the other projects that we work with as well. No one's mentioned any of those yet, have they? I think you know, though. And the thing is that that's where we need the help. The more people that are minting, the more COGs that are getting bought up and burnt on the secondary market, the more the value goes up. We can then offer COGs to new people who are play to earn, and it solves a lot of problems, and it really, really helps us a lot. All right, any other questions that we've got that you want to ask before we finish? No? All right, we'll have a fantastic week, guys. Lots to look forward to over the next week. Have a fantastic week, and let's keep the momentum going and get as many people knowing about RFOX as we can. And we'll see you back next week. Have a good one.